It's that time of the programme again where usually halfway through we play two from Thin Lizzy, and I got particular reason for playing them this week, and in particular that song called Get Out of Here from the Black Rose album. This is our coming up to the 29th anniversary of the passing of Philip Lynott, 4th of January 1986, and every year since then his friend Smiley Bulger has put on what is known as the Vibe for Philo. If you don't know what that means, basically it's a tribute night. It's a night where like-minded people, a love of him and a love of his music, get together and we celebrate his life, and in doing so we got a lot of bands coming up playing, as you would expect, Philip's songs. A lot of people know about it, but we will endeavour now to try and explain to those of you who are thinking of going perhaps what you can expect at the Vibe. If you've never been, perhaps this is going to be the year that will be your first year, and the man himself, Mr. Smiley Bulger, friend of Philip and organiser of the Vibe for many, many years now, 29 as I mentioned, is on the phone to talk about it. How are you doing, Smiley?
Roddy, how are you doing? Good evening to you.
Good, good. Here we are, 29 years. I mean, I say it every year when I talk to you on this programme, when we talk about it. I can't believe it's so many years now. We're nearly 30 years down the road. It's kind of hard to still believe it, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. It really is. You know, and like this is the sort of the pinnacle one before the big 30th, which will be 2016, right? So. It's hard to believe. Yeah, it's been going on for so long, and I suppose it's just every year the same collective. It's changed over the years, and the people who've worked on the Vibe, people come, people go, but there's a core of people like who give their services, every year for the common cause.
When you started out on this, I mean, obviously it was not something that you particularly wanted to get involved. We'd all prefer that if the man was still with us. But back in those very early days, just for a few moments, for people who wouldn't have been aware, say within the first 10 years, how much has it radically changed from those days to what we are accustomed to now?
Well, I'd say up to the fifth Vibe, like up to the fourth anyway, we didn't really know what we were doing, right? And the fifth one in the Olympia, remember we went from the New Wing gig, which held about, 300 or 400 people, to the Olympia, which holds 1,500, and we actually sold it out, much to my surprise. And we weren't, that was sort of like a baptism of fire, right? There was good players on the bill, but we weren't really ready for that. It worked better in the atmosphere of a small club, the same way as the pre-Vibe, the dress rehearsals for the main event every year. That's really special in people's hearts, But I suppose over the years we got better at it, and we, then we went on to do all the way, sort of 6, 7, 8, 9. All smallish ones. Then we did the old pint, and then on the 20th we worked our way through, 15, that was a big one. Then, we worked our way up to 20th. We did the tour on the 20th, Cork, Kilkenny, Limerick, and Dublin, Belfast, places like that. That was great. And, another experience. And then the 25th was a really big one. And then we downsized it for a few years, the Button Factory, and then we moved back to Vicar Street for this 3-year run.
So we're back in Vicar Street this coming January.
We're back in Vicar Street. And we're celebrating. Every year we sort of have a new team, and there's always this, it's the Vibe for Philo, but last year it was, Fight or Fall. The year before it was Dublin, Black Rose at the 25th. This one is Get Out of Here. And it's a celebration of the working musician. As it turns out, it's an all-Irish show, right, between north and south of the border. Was
that something that you had in mind to do?
What I really wanted to do this year, my original working title was Get Out of Here / Fool's Gold. I still have that up on the computer. That was my working title, because get Fool's Gold. There's a like Fool's Gold. It is Fool's Gold.
Yeah.
Like the whole, like what we're trying to achieve. But anyway, we're celebrating the working musician, and I suppose, top of the bill this year would be Pat McManus, because he really epitomizes the hard-working musician. He's on it all the time, right?
And continually so, yeah.
And then all the members of the Lowriders in their different, in their, the sort of their day-to-day basis, they're all in different bands, the three, the boys from up north,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
The El Dur brothers, Brian. Don't ask me how many bands Brian is in.
For the benefit of people listening in who are not familiar with what the Lowriders
Brian
are.
Grace,
Well, the Lowriders is taken from a line taken or a name of a number of people taken from one of Philip's songs, and what the lads.
Johnny the Fox.
It was from the song.
Basically, the Lowriders are basically what was the Hoodoo Rhythm Devils,
yep.
right? With a change of singer and a change of drummer, right?
Yeah.
But Brian and Phil are still there.
And these guys are incredible musicians. For people again who wouldn't be familiar with the vibe, these guys are somebody. I think you might have been yourself mentioned, or somebody said it to you. These are as close to the real thing as you're going to get.
They are the real deal,
musically,
right? Because they play with their. They play their heart out, right? Like musicians, working musicians in general, as long as they're playing, you'll notice this with people, especially with older musicians. It doesn't make a difference. You could be going out with a wedding band tonight. You could be going out with a two-piece tomorrow night. Yeah. You could be going out with a rock and roll band on Friday. You could be doing anything. And
whoever pays the money.
No, but you're playing. This is this is the key.
Yeah,
right?
Getting out there.
If you don't use it, you lose it. Right, so the fact that people are playing, look at Noel Bridgman, from Skid Row.
Yeah.
He is playing better today at 68, 69 than he ever played before. Same with Pat Farrell. All these guys, the old timers,
Now you also every year.
You need young people as well.
Well, with that in mind as well, every year as well, you have the Young Rockers vibe, and from last
Dark Lanes this year,
the Dark Lanes, who are they do actually a very passable version of they do it in their own style of the rocker, which a lot of people would have heard at the birthday celebrations.
Yeah, they're opening the show, right? And I was at the rehearsals last night. I can see why they're called the Dark Lanes. They're set up in an old warehouse in the middle of an abandoned industrial estate. But they're full on, they're full of energy, They're opening the show. The Conor Scott's back, right, from Northern Ireland. We're going to try and run Conor Scott and the Lowriders together, He does two songs, then he's joined by the Lowriders, and then they kick off and do their own set. And then the Lost Brothers, if we ever find them.
Really? Oh, they've been included?
They're on the list. Right?
All right, for people who don't know who the Lost Brothers are, their manager is Frank Murray.
I think he was.
He was. Is he not with them anymore? Perhaps not. Okay. Well, he was.
It's like Philo meets the Everly Brothers.
Yeah.
If you can imagine that one. Right?
That's a very good description. A very good description.
And they're very, very good.
Yeah.
And surprisingly enough, it was Oisin approached me wanting to do a country version, sort of country folk version of Philomena, and I said to him, "That sounds interesting to me."
Right.
And then we were looking for a second song. And I mentioned the Lost Recordings, which I was trying to get the Brush to do for this year, right? But but I don't think the Brush really played on the Lost Recordings. But do you know that beautiful song? It's really worthwhile.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well, I mentioned that to Oisin from the Lost Brothers. Not only that, he knew it. He started singing it to me over the phone.
So you said, well prepared. Yeah, that's it.
Well, it's a beautiful song, right? Yeah. So they're going to do them two, and they might do one more, right? I think he mentioned the original version of Sarah, which is a nice choice as well.
It's never been played at the Vibe, as far as I know.
It probably has.
Probably
has,
way back.
Way back. Yeah. And then after them, you got Pat McManus, and he's doing a long set this year. I managed to get 8 songs out of him.
Very good.
Because the last time he just did 3 and Needle in the Groove, right? So this time I worked on him, and pushed him a little bit, and he came across, and the Barley Mob will just be doing 3 or 4 songs there.
That would be interesting to hear them do what they do. I want to say
good fun.
Yeah.
There was talk of a sort of a reggae soul version of Whiskey in the Jar. I would say, what? I can't imagine it, right? And it also happens to be Philomena's part of piece, and she's on next, right?
Yeah.
And then the raffle is going to be for children with, recovering from leukemia and cancer, right? And Tom Knoll, the artist for this year, who did that wonderful painting, he sent me a signed print.
Fabulous.
Of the thing, which we have.
It's a great piece of artwork, I must say. It's
beautiful artwork.
So
then Flash Murphy and his merry bunch of men, bad reputation, they'll be taking us all out.
Nice to see Flash back again.
What?
Nice to see the Flash back again.
Yeah, great. And like another really sort of, trooper, he teaches and, he plays and, I think he plays in a wedding band and he plays in Bad Reputation and he probably even still has Metallica going on. So, and these are the sort of people that were, I know, like if you look at the bill, there's no big stars, there's no big names, right? But it's a very solid bill. You know what I mean? It'll be a great in night's entertainment. And we're not expecting big crowds on this one. I would say, 800 people maybe.
Well, you always seem to underestimate it every year, Smelly. Every time I talk to you, I don't think we get the numbers this year. It's always packed.
I think I've done enough of these to know the ebbs and the flows.
Yes.
You know what I mean? like the one before, the ninth, for example, was in the Ringside Club, which is attached to the National Stadium. It's actually where they train, right? And there's a bar in that place as well. That was like to 200 people. And the next year we're in the Point, which was like oversubscribed. You couldn't get in, sold out, right? Yeah. So.
There's still a huge interest in the life and times and the music of Phillips. Every year it astounds me the amount of new people, younger people who are getting into his music. I mean, you as someone who knew him and worked with him and were friends with him, it must gladden your heart to see that.
Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely. Like it's lovely because, I really for example, I'll put this one out, right? I think that Hozier, for example, right, has something got to say about Philip, right? I'm putting it out there because, I really think if anybody knows him, right, and I know some of the people who are playing these bands, but I really do because, and the reason I base that on, right, is the fact that he is such a good songwriter himself, right?
Yes.
And anybody who ever wrote a song in their life, right, in this country, every Irish musician, you have to, when you, by learning the song, breaking it down, you sort of get some rules on sort of structure. You know what I mean? Like the structure of the song. What makes a good song? A good hook line, right? A good hook, a good, good riff, and a good chorus, right? And if you can have half-decent lyrics as well as that, you're in business.
Well, if Hozier is... And I'm sure he'll be home for Christmas. It's been an extraordinary year for him, and I'm sure he's going to be home and putting the feet up. Stranger things have happened, Smiley.
Oh, yeah.
As you well know.
Put him on your wishing list there for Santa Claus.
Well, I know a man who knows a man who knows someone who might... leave that one with me. We will try that one out.
And I know that Hozier will work.
Absolutely. So where can people get the tickets? Are they still available on Ticketmaster?
Ticketmaster, tickets.ie, and then picture tickets, you can get them through Don McCarrick on, if you follow the www.viperphilo.com links, you'll get all that information. And then there's, in record shops in Dublin only, there is, Well, but I'm sure if you want a ticket, you'll find one.
Absolutely. Well, everybody looking forward, as per usual, Smiley. I'm going to play out of this with the merry jingle. Do you have any story about this particular piece, or do you know anything that we wouldn't know, or whatever? No?
The merry jingle, I think it was just,
bit of fun.
I bought a 3 CD of Christmas songs in Tesco the other day, and there's some great ones on it, and there's some horrible ones on it. Yeah. Like everybody had a go at doing a Christmas song at some stage, you know what I mean? I think they have. I don't know if the Saw Doctors have ever done it. I'm sure they have.
Well, we look forward to it anyway, Smiley. And 4th of January, it starts. It's on the 3rd and the 4th. Thanks very much for taking the few minutes, Smiley. We look forward to it, as always. Just to remind people, it's January the 3rd. January the 4th is the main event, but it starts, everything kicks off on the 3rd.
Vicar Street.
Vicar Street is the main one on the 4th. Can't miss it. And looking forward to it, Smiley. And, long may he rock and roll.
I'll see you there.
Please God.
I'll see you there.
And this is a merry jingle. Thank you, Smiley Bulger.
Cheers, Roddy. Take care. Bye.